Good morning and welcome back to the Daily Deer. This is a daily episodic that helps keep your mind in the deer woods 365, but you don't need any help. We're just here because we love talking about deer. Let's go ahead and get into the deer woods today. Okay, so over the weekend, I made an executive decision to stop posting daily deer content over the weekend. This episodic is a lot, and to do an episode every single day is we've been doing it. I realized we should probably just do it during the week. I need the weekends to cool off and chill out. So here forward, I think we're just going to do the weekdays, Monday through Friday, and call it the Daily Deer. I think that still counts. I'm just pulling it back a touch. So anyway, with that, welcome to March. Today is March 3rd. It's Monday. And I want to talk about something I learned from Derek Melchor a little bit. Now, I'm not going to do it as good of justice as he would, but I'll give you my POV on it. And maybe we can get him to cover an episode on a deeper version of it. But essentially, today I want to talk about breaking the rut mindset. And specifically, the quote that we have is, "Do not go where the path may lead. Instead, go where there is no path and leave a trail." A quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson. And look, what I mean by that is when I've done off-season scouting and I see rubs and historical scrapes and things like that, I get pretty jazzed. I'm like, ooh, we're in the sign. This is good. And what I have failed to do is think about, well, when was that sign created? When was that sign put down and made? Was it in September, October, November? Was it during the rut? And I think that's just an important thing to consider because, I mean, unless you're hunting, the rut's such a, I don't say volatile, but unpredictable time to be hunting that I think there's going to be things that hold true from where does might be bedding, they might be, scent checking, they might be cruising a scrape line, things like that. But Derek had called out, and this seems obvious, and if you already know about this, great. But if you don't, like me, if you're learning new things, and this is exciting, like looking at rubs and actually thinking about the age of the rub due to the coloration of the bark. And you can get a pretty good idea of what is a fresher rub than a more historical rub. And for me, at least when I was scouting, a fresh rub just meant it looked more appealing, it felt like it carried more weight in terms of the deer activity. But in reality, it just meant that was laid probably during the rut, and therefore not as good at helping me determine a pattern for any early to mid-season, pre-rut stuff for hunting. So when you're out scouting, keep that in mind, that you want to be looking at, to some degree, the historical nature of the sign that has been left behind. And rubs are a really good way to do that because of the coloration of the bark. You can kind of get a sense for when that was laid out. Was it early season sign, mid-season sign, or was it just fresh enough that it still looks pretty, pretty real, or fresh, I guess is what I'm looking for here. So the tip is study non-rut behaviors by tracking how deer, use their traditional travel corridors. What food sources are around. Off season can be a little bit different. They're browsing, they're eating, sticks and twigs and things like that. There's not a lot of food sources, but even in water areas, that can change season to season. I remember Greg Tubbs and I, and Derek walked a property, and in historical years, the water level had been so high that it basically created a bit of a pond. And we were walking in that said pond one year because it had such low rain levels that year. So, every year things change. So where that sign was left that we found in this dried up pond, given enough rain, that would not have been a huntable area at all. It would have been literally underwater. So seasonality is really important. So pay attention to sign and how it backs up to seasonality, and think about when you want to be having success in the deer woods, which is all the time, but are you trying to do an early season hunt, a mid-season hunt? I personally like hunting the rut, so that rut sign for me is pretty neat. You hunt an area long enough and you're going to see the same sign year after year to a degree. A property can only hold deer a certain way. In the suburban areas that I live, there's only so many places for these deer to go. If you're in a big, vast area, I'm sure it's a lot different, but the takeaway today is, understand deer outside of the rut. That can make you a better year-round hunter. So thanks for trekking into the deer woods today. Appreciate you guys and gals, and have a great day.